Good morning, City Skyliners. It's a beautiful day in the city, and today we're going to show you how to create a realistic countryside. Welcome, and let's together tell the Skyline story. So, the first thing that we do in order to make a realistic countryside, or what in my opinion will look like that, is to lay down a road. In this case, I like to use the dirt road, and something that's very important, don't focus on making super straight shapes or squares. We're not in downtown right now. We're in the suburbs, we're in the valley, we're far away from the city. So just make random lines with the dirt road. Let's make it look like this. Right after that, I start laying down the farms. Now, some parts of my city I like to focus on, my countryside, just focus on with one industry like carrots or cotton. In this case, I'm gonna put all of them just like that. You have an idea, kind of like making a small town far away from the city, kind of like 1 hour driving away from the city. So this is a small town that has a bunch of farms. Now, it's important when you start doing your farm, just make a random shape like this one. Usually I like to do squares, rectangles, not so circular, even though out there you can see some circular figures in terms of farming, but from what I like and what it seems more realistic in City Skylines, it's kind of like this type of shapes, more like square, like straight lines. And something that is very, very important that you can see right now, I am not putting the farm right next to the street. Why is that? I'm leaving that empty space because later on we're gonna put trees in that area, and it's gonna kind of have like a natural separation. We keep doing the same thing, and I am about to show you a different example where I put the road right next to the farm, which is this one. Here the road goes between the farm, and that gives that realism that you need to take the road and go all the way down to get to the farm, which also is something very good to do. Now, something very important that you cannot miss in the countryside is those big houses like the ranch owner or that old house that has been there for 100 years. And if you have the mod, find it, which I'm using right now. I usually put level 5 for the building, 4x4 or 5x5 depending on what I can find. Usually kind of like 3x3, 3x4, or in this case, let's see, 4x5. I found this big house. It kind of looks like a house that could be in the middle of a ranch, so it matches perfect. Here I'm putting another one. Let's see what else I can find. Let me put maybe level 5 to see all the houses that I can find inside City Skylines. Usually the Southwestern or like the UK pack has pretty good houses that look very, very nice for like this type of builds. In this case, like a countryside or a suburb. And like this one, see? This house look perfect for this area. Why is this important? Because later on you'll see that around the house we will make also a farm. We will also grow trees. We will make a ranch. We'll put animals, which is important, because not everybody in the area is just gonna be in the industry. You have to put people that live there, that own their industry, or they go work there. The United States packs also have, the vanilla City Skylines houses are pretty nice as well. They're pretty big and they look like a farm owner, a ranch owner lives in there, or the workers. See, here we have a few amount of houses, which gives that perfect look. Now, what's important? We have a farm right next to it. You see that empty space because we're gonna put trees later on. But now it's important that you also do this. You add a color to the ground, because remember, in the countryside it's not just all the same color. Usually the soil is different. There's soil that is very brown. There's other ones where there's a lot of grass. There's other places where there might be even, you know, it might look like sand, like this one. Depending what they're growing, depending on how they're treating their oil. I mean, soil, not oil. So yeah, there might be places like this one where it's just rocks. What's important is that between all these different colors, there is pretty nature to separate it, which is what we will do later on, adding trees and things like that. Now see here, you can have like different types of soils, different type of floors, and it makes that unique look that a countryside has. All those colors, all those trees that we'll see, all those different things that people grow. And see here, I'm leaving a little space in between the road and that rock. And here as well. Remember, just random shapes. I like to do the square. Of course, you can be more detailed and make it a little more pretty, but this is the idea, to make these random shapes. And again, don't feel like it looks bad and at the beginning, because it's super easy to just, give up because it's not looking how you like it. Just give time, because when you start doing all the detailing with the trees is where you're gonna make it look way prettier. In this case, there are some countrysides that they have the same type of trees aligned to make kind of like a natural gate in between properties. That's exactly what I am doing right now. And this is the part where the detail is the most important of all. Look, just make a natural gate in between the property and between properties. So like that, the owners, they can have their privacy. And something very important, I like to add random trees right in between all this line. The same line that at the beginning made it look kind of bad. Now it's giving that life of that. In some areas there's underwater where there's more trees. Some areas there's not much. Some areas there's rock. So some areas there is this dirt soil. So that's the pretty part of a countryside when you travel far away from the city to have a getaway with your family. In this case, we're not in the middle of a forest, so it doesn't have all of it to be just trees. But you can see how there is, in some areas, some corners, where the roots grow better and there's more trees. In this case, there's all this natural gate. I am putting just random trees. Usually I like these ones that are kind of like big, so like that they cover more space. But the most important goal here is that straight line that we made, putting the colors on the floor, that line is covered, so it doesn't look like a straight line. It looks like there's trees around. Now I'm just gonna add some quick details and add a bunch of trees so like that it doesn't look too empty. But see, the most important thing is that line, the line that is separating the green with the brown. That one has to be covered. That is a rule that has to be like that, because if not, it looks too unrealistic. Just you never go somewhere where there's a straight line of brown and green. Usually there's trees around, bushes, things like that. Now, in this type of farms like this one, I like to make those straight lines of trees one next to each other, because it gives that vibe that they put them there in purpose. Now in between farms like this one, just random trees, because like that make it look like they were naturally there growing. See, in this case right there, we're separating farms. Perfect. remember, the idea is to make your countryside look a little bit more realistic and not just random. When I started doing these things, my countryside was just the random carrots, the random cotton, and just I made a big circle so that I could produce more for my city. But when I started gaining this sense of like, oh, I want to make it look like an actual place, like a small town away from the city, but make it look realistic. That's where I started falling more in love with Cities Skylines. And in this case, for example, here you can see that I'm just not making a random line around all this sand. I'm making it look like in a natural way all these trees were growing. Of course, my number one rule is to cover that separation, that line between the green and the sand, in this case, the grass and the sand, but making it look in a way random, with no rules. Because trees have no rules, they just grow wherever they feel like growing. In this case, see? That, for example, is two line. I need to add more, exactly, just like this. See? And now it looks like that person that owns that property, he has a pretty nice backyard. And if you can see from far away, now we started getting all those colors. Different colors, the brown, the green. They're rock right next to each other. And right here, it's easy to say, but again, we're making a line of trees. So it looks like the street has a line. Now I'm just gonna make it look a little prettier on the side, so like that we can have a better idea of when you build your own countryside, usually it's gonna be in an area full of trees or mountains, depending. So here, look, we have a nice house. This person owns this property, and we can tell that he owns all the property in the back, all that brown soil. So sometimes something that you can do, instead of just putting trees, just add a fence. That will make it look like he owns his ranch, he owns his property. And he's protecting it from horses, from cows. Because I don't know, maybe he grows something there, maybe he has his own animals. I'm making it just fast so you get the idea, but I definitely encourage you that if you make your own, take your time, make the fence look way prettier, and it's way better aligned to the street. I'm just doing it quick so you get an idea of what I'm trying to explain. Again, all this is just my opinion on how I think you can make something like this look more realistic, more like an actual countryside. The countryside. Dong 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 dong. Look, this is very important. Now that we have the houses, now that we have the farms, now that the place makes sense, now I want to add those details that make it look like those people that own these farms or the ranch or these properties, that some of them are actually growing something, or they are working, they're making their land have a purpose. In this case, I just grabbed a random bush, I made a line, and I'm just gonna do lines. Because who knows, maybe he's... Oh, there it is. I don't know what happened. Maybe he's growing something from these bushes, Who knows? Maybe he's selling, I don't know, something. I wanted to say moras, but I don't remember how to say moras in English. Well, if you speak Spanish, maybe he has zarzamoras. When I was a kid, I used to go pick up zarzamoras in these bushes. And look, something that's important, don't make it all go to the same way. Maybe you can do it like this. And maybe you can leave a path in the middle. So like that, whoever is going to get the moras, they have to go between the path. They have to drive their tractor in between or whatever. And look, now it looks beautiful. Look at it from far away. It looks like that person is actually growing something. Please, if you know how to say moras, let me know in the comments. And now with trees. Look, now kind of looks like they're growing apples. They have a bunch of apple trees. One right next to each other. Now, usually I don't put stuff in the actual farm just because it looks weird, but you can do that as well. I have some farms where I put in the middle some trees. And now I'm just gonna do this. I forgot to add the actual green. Look, now we have all the colors in our countryside. And here you can definitely tell that it's an empty green. Now, if you find it, go to this section and here you have all these props. I love putting barns. I think it makes it look so much realistic, so much like there's life. It's not just an empty space. There's a barn that was built here a long time ago, or is it being used, or it's not being used. Either way, it's there. Look, a generator, or who knows. Look, these machines that they throw water to whatever is being planted, you know. All those things. Now I'm making it quick, I'm just adding whatever to give you the idea. But for you, I totally recommend you take your time, see what's in, find it, check all the props, put in each farm, put something, make it look realistic. So like that when the cars are driving or you're passing by it, you can see, oh wow, they're growing something. You know, there's a bunch of props. There's like, for example, this one will look beautiful right here. See? And yeah, we could actually add a water tower in this town. And a church. We need a church. I feel like there's always a church in this type of towns. And see, like, look at this lumber. Like, I can't find a really cool place right now to put them, but if I would have more time, you know, I don't want to have you guys here for 1 hour watching this video, but maybe I could think of a better place. Like, for example, this one. This is a nice house. Yeah, there we put some lumber. Maybe this person owns a company of forest or something. Oh, we haven't put forest industry in here. We forgot about that. That's fine. Now, besides the props, you know, we have all this. This is a drive-in, a 53-foot drive-in. We can maybe, I don't know, put it somewhere. You know, you can make a place in a farm, like for example, where you can put a bunch of this 53-foot drive-ins, or like this big tractor, like the one that appears in Cars. You know, it could be parked in a farm because it's gonna be used. See right here. Look at these trailers, look at this truck. They can just be parked there because that's where they put them. Now, what I'm trying to say is that use the props, take your time. Don't just leave an empty space just empty. You know, you can put in a corner a prop that is parked, you know, and see from far away, started to look better. Now, I think we need to add a church. I'm saying it, there's always churches in these towns, the middle of nowhere. always the biggest building, the tallest building. And here, this one looks good enough. Now, if I would keep this town right here, I would put a school and I would put houses and everything. But this is a small town. And you know, a fire tower for fires, forest fires, yep. A police station could be good, you know, a small police station. And I think the most important of all, the water tower. It's always there, you can't miss it, the water tower. Now, if you make your own countryside, for sure you're gonna put a train station in the middle. It's gonna be a train that passes by, something like that. You have to take your time, and it looks so good when the train passes between farms. I think it's the best thing. And now, something I want to show you that is kind of like very, very unique of something I like to do in Cities Skylines. Here I'm just putting fences that I grew up from Find It. You know, random fences. I am making a random rectangle just to kind of like give you the idea, but the idea is that you make your own. And here, you know, I'm gonna put a barn to make it look like this piece of grass is being used. Someone owns it. And look at this hangout area. This is also, you can find it and Find It. And what that means is what is here. So here, specifically here, if you want to put animals and you don't want the animals to go away, run away, or just walk in your map, you need to put hangout area first. And then you put one of these invisible cylinders that will spawn, in this case, horses. And if you have the hangout area as we put it in the beginning, the horses will not go farther away from that borderline that you created. So here you can see it, that's a cylinder. In any second there's gonna be some horses spawning from it. But remember, you have to put the hangout area. And I'm gonna put a cylinder right there outside so that you have an idea that when they spawn outside they can go anywhere. They can go to the street, anywhere, but if you put it inside a spawn area, they stay in that area. Now here I'm gonna make a quick entrance. See, now the horses are spawning, and as you can see, they're gonna be, I'm gonna take this one out. But the horses are gonna keep spawning. Usually, if you put one cylinder, it's gonna be kind of like I don't know, 6 horses. There won't be spawning more than that. But since we put that hangout area at the beginning, they will not go past the fences. And this, I'm just making a quick entrance so it looks pretty. And let me see how I can make it prettier. Maybe like this, yeah. I'm gonna kind of like create this path. Yup. Yes. See? Now, kind of like a random way entering the property. And see, you can see that horse in the corner that can go farther away because the hangout area. And here I'm just gonna put random around. Perfect. Beautiful. See? That's the hangout area. You can see it. They can't go farther than that just because we put that first. And you can make it with a lot of, you know, a lot of animals. In this case, we put some chickens. Let's see. They're all spawning in any second. The idea is when you make your own, you know, you have yours with horses and the other one with chickens and the other one with pigs. In this case, we just put horses. But it's amazing because they give such a unique, like, oh, see, there's a chicken. Chicken right there. And well, that's my quick tutorial on how to make a realistic countryside in City Skylines. Go out there, make your colors, put your church, put your water tower, put those barns, put those ranch owner houses, the big houses. Look at all those colors. Look, put the trees in between the lands, the properties. Make it realistic. I hope you make yours way better than mine. This is a quick example. Right here, I'm gonna show you an example of how mine actually looks like in my city. You see the freeway passes in between them. On the other side of the hill, there is the actual city. The countryside is, it has life. It's what I want you to do with yours. Bring your ideas, take your time, put all those trees one by one, make the details count. Thank you. If there's anything else that you would like me to show you in City Skylines, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for coming to the Skyline Story.